This is our kickoff and welcome. And thank you all so much for joining so far for our little discussion on how it's going to look this year. So go to the next page. So if you have not already, make sure you watch the video. I think you can find that everywhere on YouTube and on the First Inspires webpage. You want to pull the game manual 1 and 2 of remote version. I'll go over that a little bit more, but they've got traditional, and traditional means you play face to face the way you used to in the old days. And remote is how you play, how we will play this year for the upcoming, as far as we can see at the moment. So big disclaimer, as I mentioned, please be flexible. We've got stuff in this presentation, especially when we get to the breakout session on judging, that we don't know what's going on just yet. And we're waiting for headquarters to give us direction. Something happened with my slides there. So just be patient with some of the more volatile sections. If you go to the next page, let me just share our agenda for today. So kickoff and welcome, we're doing that right now. And Patrick, and I think we'll see him a little bit later. Patrick, he was on the screen, and he will be showing us a closer look at the field elements. In all of this, and as she's got her mouth full of power drink or whatever, Amanda, why don't you give a wave out to everybody if they can see you, or is it just I who can see you?
It's just you who can see me, because I have to keep it on the PowerPoint.
No problem. So Amanda has put all of this together. Now, granted, a big thanks to all of our workshop presenters. We have 12 different speakers today to help take you guys through things. But all putting this together, yeah, we all work virtual these days, but getting all of these channels to work, and big thanks to Amanda. So couldn't have done this without her. We'll take not a break necessarily, but we'll give you a couple minutes to get to your workshop. We'll start our workshops at 1:45. Then you can move to your next virtual room about 2:30, and we'll start the next section at 2:45 and hope to end by around 3:30. So that is the plan, and a woohoo to you too. So we go to the next page. Let's talk about what we look like in Southern California. So don't know if anybody really noticed this, but across the United States, we are one of the biggest locations. We have been. We are 9 counties big. And I tell this to you guys every year, all the way from San Luis Obispo down to San Juan Capistrano, out east to Palm Springs, out east, south, northeast to Temecula and that area and Kern County. We cover a lot of territory. And in the past, we have had about 150 teams year over year. So don't know what it's going to look like this year, but we have 57 teams registered already. And I know the registration is a little bit low right now. And that's because kids aren't even back in school. You don't even know if you're going to have extra school activities. And the great thing about this year is we pushed everything in to basically start in January. So if you are a team that's lucky enough to be able to get together, then go for it. If you're a team that you don't think you're going to be able to start working together until January, this is why we're moving things out, so we can address it for everybody. We are going to, because of that, those of you who were here last year, we did leagues. So if you remember leagues, it was 4 meets. You played 5 times. We took your scores. We are not going to do that this year because the league hosts can't at this time say whether or not they'll let us have space in their school, because their schools don't know if they're going to let us have space and let people get together. We're moving back about 5 years to the old qualifier model. So that means we're not going to do the leagues, but we will have scrimmages in order to have you practice. And then you'll have 1 qualifier. And of course, our sponsors continue to be Collins Aerospace and our Next Careers affiliate partners who runs our books and such. So Amanda, if you wouldn't mind flipping to the next. Our committee. Big thank you to our committee. You need to forward it one more time. It flipped up there. There you go. Here's our committee folks. Again, if anybody would like to be on this committee, please send a reach out to us. You do have to be over 21 to be part, but in this virtual world, we're going to need some other types of people this year, or other roles filled. So always looking for more people to get involved. So reach out. If we go to the next page. All right. Changes from last season. So as everyone's seen, they've pushed out Worlds now to July for us. So that's great. So we can just push all of our events. So instead of having our trophied and performing events in the February timeframe, we're going to move that out to March. And we're going to move this is going to be in the presentation. You guys can get this on the website also. And we're going to push our championship out to April. And we're trying to stay out of May because we're assuming schools will go back to normal. You guys will have graduation. You guys will have AP exams. So we wanted to stay out of the May timeframe. Even though Worlds is all the way out in July, we wanted to make sure we wrapped up for everybody by the end of April. So we are going to do remote, which means you play individually. So if you haven't picked this up yet from all the presentations that first gave yesterday, you end up in your garage by yourself or with your team of 4 or 5 people, or however you can stay safe, wearing your face masks and such like this. There's a whole DIY on how you can put the field together in your garage, and we will be submitting scores online up through the cloud, and everyone will be doing this on their own in individual places. We will not get together as a league. We will not get together as a QT this year. We're going to do it all remote. That's our current plan until the situation potentially gets better in Southern California. So the one point I want to make on this is you really this year, now I'm a person who never reads the game manual, and I always depend on someone else to read the game manual. You guys really need to know your rules because we're not going to have outside referees. So if you're in your garage doing your own, event and you've scored yourself and you upload your scores, you have to be your own referee. So you really have to know your scores. So read the remote manual, understand, and then toward the end, there's some links from headquarters, and we'll have sites available too where you can ask questions about, well, what does this rule mean? What does that rule mean? So that really is the biggest piece here. And then we're also going to end up doing Zoom style, I'll use that word, video interviews for our judging. So if we go to the next page, I want to do old way, new way for a couple of our things. So why don't you flip to the next one there, Amanda? First, let me show you the remote field. So in the game manual, actually it's not in the game manual, it's in the field assembly guide. They show you a full-on field with both the blue side and the red side. We will be playing remote. We're playing half fields. It's not exactly half. It's 12 by 8 and not 12 by 6, but this gives you a little bit of a pictorial of how it looks. Now, there's the tower in the back. They're using mats and a wall in this case, but you can see roughly, and you'll get better directions on how much space this takes up. So let's go to the next page. So at a half field, there is an option to buy the Andy Mark purchased pieces. So this is what the tower structure looks like, or there are directions on how to do it in cardboard, which is just fine enough. So, and if you notice in this picture, there's also a cardboard perimeter. If you watch the end game, part of the end game is taking one of the wobble goals and reaching it over the wall. So you do need a perimeter. Well, it's suggested that you have some kind of perimeter, and these little donuts roll and bounce, and you'll be chasing them all over your garage or whatever, your school, while you, if you don't have a wall up. So let's go to the next page. Okay, this is generally our season. Today, kickoff, as I mentioned, November and December. We haven't set it up yet, but we're going to have scrimmages where the scrimmage will be from all of your garages or your houses or your school if they happen to let you play in your school. So we'll be having types of scrimmages. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to set up a scrimmage, that is fine. Also, we're going to do this all over again. We're going to have a kickoff reboot, most likely around December 5th. So I'm guessing that things are going to change in the next 3 months. And so if we, for some reason, can go to in-person play, we'll be able to tell you that on December 5th, hopefully, if things have changed. And my guess is directions from headquarters on how things get judged. That will be changing too. So that December 5th reboot kickoff is something that everyone will want to join back in, because you'll get a feel for what all has changed since the last time we talked. We're also in January and February going to continue to have scrimmages, because we're figuring this is when, after January, when you guys go back to school for second semester, hopefully you're in person in school. And these are our dates for our qualifiers. So, again, qualifiers are a little different this year because of them being virtual. So we've got March 6th, which is a Saturday, and the 14th. Two of these are Saturdays and 2 of these are Sundays, the 21st and the 27th. And we'll talk a little bit more about this in the details presentation that I give after this. A qualifying tournament in the old days was a 1-day event. We got there at 7 o'clock in the morning and we got you out sometimes by 8 o'clock at night. So this year, what remote is, it's 7 days prior. So there's a 7-day window before that QT date for you guys to submit your 5 scores. So we'll get into that in a little bit more detail in the remote section that I do next. But just in summary, that's kind of what it does. And then there's 4 QTs. At this time, because it's not just you guys as students that can't get together, it's a challenge for me to get volunteers and judges and all that. We are limiting it to 1 QT per team. So you'll get your choice. We will not assign you. It's a first come, first serve kind of thing. And you can put down your backup one and we'll do our best to get you where you want to be. But we'll have 4 dates. You pick 1 QT. And if by chance, I'm thinking we might even get up to 100 teams again. So I want to make sure we have enough space for everyone to have one. But then again, that December reboot meeting, we'll see what happens. And maybe there's an opportunity to figure out how to get you guys more playtime. Championship is still right now planned as remote. All of this is planned as remote. I'm assuming worst case scenario. And we don't do anything in person. And then Worlds, they are trying to plan for an in-person event in Houston. Right. So let's go to the next page. And as I mentioned, all these dates could change. So we're still using the league format for communication. So if you were in Andrew Whitman's A1 league last year and you registered to play this year, we're going to put you back in Andrew Whitman's A1 team. At this point, talking to Andrew, he's not allowed to have anybody in school. He can't do anything in person, but he will be your communication vehicle. So I'm going to send my communication to these 12 league hosts, and they're going to send it to you guys. So you want to make sure when you register, we assign you either the past league you were in. I assume that's the one you want to stay in, or if you want to be in a different league, doesn't really matter. It's just at this point, a communication vehicle. So fast forward, if by chance they let us play in person, or they let the schools figure out, like Alec Gomez, he said in his school, which is EULA, maybe come the fall or come January, his school will let other schools come into his school and use their field, but you'll have to follow whatever social distancing rules that school has. So that's what we're hoping for. Is I'm going to seed each one of these 12 leagues with a full-on set of field elements, so they don't have to do the DIY; they get the full-on stuff. And then we're hoping that as things open, that for instance, maybe Stacy in Paris area now. Her classroom right now is closed, but maybe the teams that are associated with her will be able to use the field that I've sent her and the field elements. We'll also play it by ear, but we'll try and pepper some more field elements around. If you, for instance, in Compton, if I know that's probably 2 or 3 high schools. So if Both of the high schools want a field element. Let me know, because you've got at least 4 or 5 teams that will be able to use them eventually. So we're going to, like I said, got to be flexible. So I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work out just yet. So go to the next page. Just like I said, know your leagues. Here's an important point. We have changed the fees this year. If you recall, it was $300 for your 4 league meets and then your qualifying tournament. We've dropped that down to $50. We know how hard it's been for a lot of you guys, that your schools are cutting your budgets and that you don't have, a lot of money to do anything. That $50 basically covers the trophy costs for each of those 4 QTs. And we're going to cover it out of our budget, anything else that we need to make this season run this year. So this assumes that we stay remote. I have not yet set a fee for championship. If we do go in person, it'll be more like the fee it was last year. If we stay remote, then it will be significantly reduced. So that all said, if you're even not sure you want to participate this year, go into the first headquarters and at least start your registration. So if you don't have money to pay the $275 fee that big first charges, at least start your registration process. Then you'll show up to us and you're interested. And then when you have enough money to pay the $275, then then there's the $50 to play at our level. So like I said, we really hope you all can make it. Know that it's very unsure right now for many of you. So just like I say, be flexible this year. So let's look at the next one. All right, progression. The progression is basically the same. It goes between, and so back up. So we will have 4 qualifiers if you look on the one side of the page. And if there's 20 to 25 teams in a qualifier, we will probably progress 10 to 12 teams into our championship. So remember before when we had league play, we had 6 different qualifiers. This year, I've only scheduled for 4. And so that means potentially more teams will be advancing to our championship. We're still targeting 40 to 48 teams at champ. I'm still targeting remote. If it goes to, so this is where you guys got to be flexible with me. If it goes to in person, then it won't be 40 to 48 teams. It'll probably be half that with social distancing and how to figure out how to do the pits and all that other stuff. So this is all still really up in the air, but this is what you got to have a plan. So this is our plan. And then Worlds is also going to be significantly less. They haven't defined what significantly is, but they're assuming even in July, social distancing will apply. So they won't be able to have 100 teams that go to Houston. So it'll be less. So just kind of keep flexible on that part. Progression order, that really hasn't changed. It's Inspire Award winner or Inspire winner first, then it's going to go to the highest ranked team based on performance, floor performance, and then back and forth between that. So go to the next. I'm running just a tad over. You'll be able to get this, but make sure that you know where to get your information. We have this Discord location set up, and after today, we want to continue to use it. So if you got questions, you can always come back into Discord and ask questions. Go to the next page, and don't forget about your headquarters places to go. There are still some grants. Don't forget that there's grants available for rookie teams. There is a great document, and we'll put it on the webpage, of COVID concerns and how to be safe. So as a white paper for your school or yourself to use maybe in your garage, if your teams get together in your garage, to talk about, how to be safe and in COVID times. The other things I want to point out on here is the official game Q&A. You need to go there when you have questions about what's the exact size of the ring, how can I build this part? We will definitely do our best to answer that question here, but you want your official answer from headquarters. So I think that's it. Everybody can see the field. So We're gonna now patch over to Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick's streaming.
You got me?
Yeah, you're streaming.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the unveiling of the field. And you play music. And here it is.
Dun dun dun.
Whoa. I have our special guest here, Miss Ellen McIsaac.
So I want to take a close-up look at these rings. They are made of orange foam. They are somewhat squishy. You can kind of see how they flex a little bit when I push it with my hand. They also twist. We also broke one in half so you can see the inside. It's just squishy orange foam all the way through. So yes, they are terrible if you're not careful. If they get stuck in a robot or if a sharp robot runs it over, they will get broken.
Ellen did that, not me. Here we go. If you'd like to see more destruction, come back and see. We're gonna destroy a few of these. We're gonna push the limits.
Oh,
Lisa, we need to buy a few more. So, got the wobble balls right there.
They move quite easily when you hit them. The round surface underneath.
Yeah.
They're fairly lightweight. They're very easy to move. So there are two of them that are colored. They sit at the end of the starting line with a big dash. The red ones really aren't any different.
Did they random pick one?
Stay well.
Ah. Antipode.
And tip over. So we also wanted to demonstrate how some of the other field elements. So there's these. What are these called?
I don't know. Line.
So these things that are supposed to flip over with the robot, there's a reset bar, and I don't remember, but you're supposed to toss ring to get them to flip back.
Yeah. So.
Another thing we wanted to demonstrate is how the field works.
Oh yeah.
So take a look at how the things roll when the finger is trying to.
That one got stuck. Wow. We're doing a great job here. They're kind of made a little weird, and if you want some more information about some best practices setting these up, please show up to the workshop, take your question.
You do have to be quite careful and have to see that the obvious things.
What else do we have? Okay. Right.
We don't show the inside.
Oh, okay, let's do the inside. There you go. Pretend you're.
So this way you can see how the react.
You're going to be a ring right now. You're going through. You're going through. Go through this neck. Sometimes you get stuck here. Sometimes you go through, and here's your thing right here, human player. Pick them up. Same thing with the other one. Just slide on down and see how this works. Oh, got stuck. Try the bottom one. There, that's for you. Your ring.
That's pretty much it. The only elements on the field itself are the full rings. There's no ramps or something on the field.
There you go, folks. Preview of the field.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah, Teresa.
Do you know where the referee is supposed to stand? Where the team's designated person who's going to be scoring?
So standing, you stand over there on the side, left and right. I'm on the left side of the field. I'm blue lines. Ellen is red lines over there. I believe the refs are supposed to stand in that corner by the net. I think that's what they said at the kickoff.
Yep, that's what I thought.
And then if you have a player back here,
Yep.
Now, just to clarify, and I know you're going to talk about it later, is since we're only playing at the half the field, the team has the ability to score in the lower, the mid, and the high. So the mid is not designated for the other team. All three of those areas are open for the team that's playing in remote play.
yeah, so in remote play, without score in the local, middle, or the high goal, or the high goal.
Right. So if down the road, when we get to championships, if in championships we decide to go live, traditional, then it would switch where the team would only be able to use the low and the high on the one side. But today, since we're remote, you get to use all three in the stack.
One thing to note, the white line is, I think, 3 inches from audience side, and your robot has to be behind that line. I think fully behind, as I understand it. So, if you want to go in the middle or the high. So, roughly 2.5 miles, but I think it's a little more than that.
Yeah, and this, the stack right down the field,
Yeah.
it's closer to the.
Yeah, it's not cutting that exactly in half, but that's how we do tape setup, so careful on that.
Hey, Patrick, do you know how heavy the wobble goal is?
We do not have a scale here that is light enough, or that is sensitive enough to take a big measurement. I think someone said 9 ounces, but we have not been able to verify.
Griffin here, anyone in the shop know where the scale is, let me know.
It's very lightweight though. It's made of a light plastic. There's nothing like blood filling in this area.
No. Let's see what a wobble goal can do. We might bring another one. Teresa might need another one.
Yeah.
Oh. There you go. It's still wobbling. So, hello, wait.
I know this question was asked before, but do you know how many rings you can put on a wobble?
I think.
We can answer that.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're going to do it right now.
And so is there...
So if you put too many, it falls over. Unless they're balanced very precisely.
Yeah.
I think you can physically fit about 12, but it's just hard to get that many to balance.
Okay. And since we're playing remote, there will only be half the field elements. So there will only be 10 donuts on the field, I believe, right? Half of the 20.
Yeah, full field is 20 and half field is 10.
Yeah. Okay. I was just kind of skimming through the questions that were already on there.
Okay.
Site.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of questions you have.
Alright, so it's 14. So you can more than the height of the pole, but it would be very difficult.
I'm gonna try reading you from here and see if I can get this working. Oh.
So if you throw them well, these rings can roll all the way across the field.
You just get caught sometimes on this, so you gotta. First set it's supposed to be a little random, and I think the randomness is just the cardboard how you set it up, and it's kind of a pain, but There you go. I was practicing all week. No.
There was another comment about would it make sense for someone just to camp out right in front of the return and just collect the donuts as they came out. And again, people need to read the game manual, but I believe the answer to that was it's like one of our old games where it has to bounce first. So you just can't catch it in the air. You have to let it bounce. And you have to also read the directions as to how far back you have to be.
So I'm not sure yet, but my recommendation would be to post that question on these forums to get an official.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a big step.
So theoretically, you might be able to fit all 20 game pieces on here.
Okay.
It would have been perfect.
It's only because it's a video.
Yeah. Someone clicked that on YouTube.